Hello and welcome to Pro14 Round 2 predictions brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, your best place rate predictions and opinion. So, yep, a few upsets in that opening round. I think for some people, I hit 100%, so very happy with that start to the season. With this one, a couple of difficult ones in here, and perhaps I'm going against the grain again with a couple of these, but let's see how it all pans out. Glasgow kick us off with hosting Munster. But let's be honest, Glasgow did not have the most convincing of wins last weekend with just a 1-point victory over Connacht, admittedly on the road. Whereas Munster, that big win over the Cheetahs, definitely. So I'm going to, off the back of that, I'm going to back Munster to win this one by 5. Glasgow obviously missing Finn Russell and some other players. So, yeah, backing Munster to win that one there. On the road. I still expect Glasgow to be one of the top teams of the season. We then head down to Ulster versus Edinburgh. Ulster have disappointed in the past, but yeah, injuries to Scarlets is why I went with them last weekend. And Edinburgh, yeah, do have their travelling woes. Now, I know that Richard Cockrell was very unhappy with their loss last weekend to Cardiff Blues, but again, I think they're going to have some travelling woes. Again, I'm going to back Ulster by 3. I don't think it's going to be a very big one. I mean, Ulster was only won by 2 points in the end. And let's be honest, Edinburgh only lost by 4. So it wasn't exactly... Sorry, it's Ospreys, not Cardiff. Geez, sorry. Wrong. Because Cardiff played Leinster last weekend. So yeah, both of those games were close, let's be honest, within a score. I think this one probably will end up the same way. I think quite a lot of games this weekend actually will be within a score. I'm not expecting many blowouts. So they could go, so the bounce of the ball could be the big difference in a lot of these games. Dragons host Kings. I mean, both these sides got losses last weekend. The Kings lost away to Zebre by 16, and we know they have a problem on the road. And Dragons lost at home to Treviso by 4. Now, obviously, a lot of big signings by the Dragons over the summer, but Treviso improved a lot last season, so I don't think people should have been quite so down on the Dragons. But this one is a game that the Dragons have to win. It's once the Kings are the weakest side in this competition, so hence going to back the Dragons by 5. If they lose this one, then yeah, they really will all be hell to pay at in Rodney Parade. After that, Connacht get their second home game, this time against Zebre. Just mentioned how Zebre beat Kings at home. And Connacht only had that 1-point loss. So, yeah, Zebre had the easiest of the opening games. They've got to go on the road now. It's not always easy to win out in Galway. So I'm going to back Connacht to win this one by 5. It's not obviously the coldest and wettest part of the year. So Zebre perhaps going there when it's nicest. But hey, still not the easiest place to go and get a win. So Ospreys then host Cheetahs. Cheetahs obviously that big loss against Munster. Ospreys that morale boosting win last weekend over Edinburgh. As we've already seen, Cheetahs don't travel very well. They've just lost their captain to injury. I'm backing Ospreys, so it's on by 10. Scarlets then host Leinster, and this is the hardest game of the round for me to pick. I mean, Scarlets, yes, I went against them against Ulster last weekend because of their injuries. Where they lost only by 2 points. Leinster got that 1-point win over Cardiff, and let's be honest, are still resting a lot of their players. A lot of talk about them playing a B team, but hey, they came away with a win, and it's all about player management. It's a squad game and all that kind of stuff nowadays. So, will this be the same side that we would see if this was the final game of the season and it was the final from Leinster? No, of course it's not going to be. They are going to stick to their guns around rotating and resting their players. So I'm going to back Scarlets by 3 in this one because, yes, as I say, it is going to be that Leinster B team that people have been talking about. So, yeah, Scarlets, I think, will get up in this one, even with their injuries. Final game of the round sees Benetton Treviso host Cardiff Blues. Cardiff, I say, with that loss, 1-point loss to Leinster, Benetton with that good with that win over the Dragons. Surely Cardiff will be a tougher prospect than the Dragons, but Treviso are at home. I say they are a decent side nowadays. Backing Treviso to win this one by 3. So there you go. Yep, all narrow margins. I think all these games could finish, apart from the Ospreys one, could finish within a score. Always good to hear your opinions. Always up for rugby chats. Please do let me know your thoughts down below and how you see this weekend going.